Gentlemen, welcome back. Have you ever looked at a cell phone map of the United States? All these cell towers, all the microwave desk sticks, they are everywhere. Now they're going to introduce all these satellite 5G. Look at the Earth. This is all the cell phone towers. These are all the EMF antenna arrays all over the place. Crazy stuff. You cannot hide from this, but yet we have no phone signal. How can we have all these cell phone towers? It looks like pubic hair all over the map, but yet we have no signal. I don't even have signal right now. Crazy stuff. Here we go. Let's jump into the show. I just wanted to show the cell phone tower map. Insane. All right, guys, welcome back, and we are live. Hopefully the stream will hold together for us tonight. Now, I got tons of articles on how they just did this 20-year study on the cell tower radiation, and it confirms that it causes cancer. Now, they did this up in Italy. They did a large-scale lifetime study of lab animals exposed to environmental levels of cell phone tower radiation, and they all developed cancer. It was a $25 million study of much higher levels of a cell phone radio frequency, the RF radiation, from the U.S. National Toxicology Program. They also reported finding the same unusual cancer called Schwannowa of the heart in male rats treated at the highest dose. In addition, the RE study of cell phone tower radiation also found increases of malignant brain tumors in female rats and precancerous conditions, including the Schwann cells hyperplasia. Anyway, let me get me on the right scene. I'm not even on the right scene. But welcome in, everybody. Thanks for joining us here on a Thursday night, 4/4/2019. Welcome in, everybody. So I got tons of these links if you guys want to read much more on the cell phone tower radiation. We know there was just a school that got the 5G tower took down. So I have tons of links right here just to prove that the cell phone towers cause cancer. You know, if they're causing cancer in the lab animals, you know they're causing cancer for us, especially the closer you are to these things. Yeah, they completed nearly 500 cancer bioassays on more than 200 compounds. But like I said, if you want to get much deeper in this, all the links are in the description. Now check this out. We just went over the carbon tax up in Canada, but look at this. Hoarding response teams being activated in Canada to locate and eliminate hoarding of supplies. What the heck is this about? Government overreach in Canada is ratcheting it up again as nanny state officials there are now creating so-called hoarding action response teams, which threaten to basically sick these SWAT teams on the people who choose to stock up on emergency supplies for worst case scenario situations. How in the world can they be getting away with this? It's just unbelievable, man. And this stuff is probably going on down in New Zealand or getting ready to down in Australia, Vancouver, where the concept of Hart appears to have been concocted, is that police state squads are necessary to address what the government claims as a public health hazard posed by the people who have too much stuff. The goal is to have local fire department teams with property inspection departments and mental health experts to pursue residents of British Columbia who hoard things that seem unusual or of limited value to others, such as old newspapers, clothes, blah, blah, blah. Hey, thanks out there, super chatting, and see who did that, but much love out there. So it looks like they've been doing this kind of hoarding thing since 1999. And now they're saying that if you hoard stuff, you have a mental disorder. So preppers will eventually be deprived of their Second Amendment rights. So this is definitely a Orwellian, crazy thing going on, man. But the link is in the description. See, this is what happens when the madmen at the top that are they're making all this stuff happen. See, they're worried that we're all going to rise up together and stop this nonsense. So what do? They create division. Steal your food so you can't stock up on stuff. It's just getting out of hand, man. People can't realize that things are not right. It's going to be way too late to do anything about it by the time we get these people woke up to this stuff. Yeah, thanks there, Diane. I just seen who that was. Yeah, now you can get arrested for thinking of a crime. Yeah, that's true, man. I remember that. Hey, look at this one here. The American farmers on verge of disaster. Right now they're getting grants almost daily. U.S. farming industry, which seemingly beset on all sides, the commodity prices remain low, with spot corn and soybean currently fetching 3.62 and 8.99 per bushel. Well, we're going to see these things just skyrocket. The flooding, they say, is currently a localized disaster for producers in the areas affected, but that's just not true. You got these flooding devastations going on in the farmlands, in the whole breadbasket area. You got it going on the West Coast, down, and who was that? Dan. Much love out there, Dan. So, we got the warning now, and if you're in Canada, man, I don't know what to tell you. You need to stock up on food, but you don't want them to come take it. So you're going to have to keep this stuff hid. You're going to have to dig you an underground refrigeration system and hide that sucker. Otherwise, they're going to come get our stuff. Anyway, there was a weird fireball reported over Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia on Thursday, April 4th. Look at all these. Whoa, I never use this map, so how do I don't know what that blue line means. Let me click that just to see. This event was visible. Okay. Somebody just sent this to me, so I wanted to check it out here. Oh, I could have downloaded the KML file for the Google Earth. I really need to get my observatory finished. I need to get the telescope hooked to the computer so that I can do some live stream deep space stuff. I can catch meteors, comets, all that stuff. I can even catch the satellites. Even though people think they don't exist, I can film them live. And there is no balloons hooked to them. They're up there. They got the solar panels and everything. All right, so let's jump into... Oh, this is freaky, man. Now, I was driving yesterday or the day before, and I stumbled across this Roseanne bar. I can't remember the name of that show she used to play. I think it might have been called Roseanne. But listen to this warning that she's putting out. And this is going to blow your mind. So check this out, man. I don't know, I haven't watched this show or nothing like that. Hey, thanks there, Madonna. Fellow Missourian. the show estate. Well, check out this. Listen to this. This will blow your mind.
This shit's coming down like a fucking rotten tree. Oh, it's so much better than I ever thought and hoped and prayed. It's coming all the way down. All the way down. Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait to tell you my news, but I can't yet till next week. It's just so awesome. Anybody who's been through a hard time and you wonder why, why did I do that? Why did something tell me to do that? And I did what I thought was right. I did what I thought was helpful, and it blew up in my face. For everybody who's ever gone through that, and that's everybody. Don't forget, I'm here to testify. There's light at the end of that dark, 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 dark tunnel. And not only light for me, but for the whole United States of America and the world. Light, and it's coming. It's coming this week and next week. Everything you were afraid of, everything you knew, everything you prayed about, your prayers were answered. Thank you, God. Ow!
Isn't that some crazy stuff, man? I mean, she's pretty crazy, it looks like, but she's talking about the lights going down with this week, the next week. She said it's all coming down, man. So I just stumbled across that. It was a minute long. I listened to it and I was like, what the hell? So take it for what you think, man. I have no idea on that. I don't even know where to go with that. So let's go ahead and jump into the, let's take a look at the forecast, just see what's going on. I haven't watched any kind of TV or radio or anything today. Yeah, I mean, I got my ideas too there, Casey. I'm just wondering, man, what do you guys think? Everybody out there, let us know what you think. And tomorrow night, I'll probably do a call-in show. Tomorrow's Friday. Friday or Saturday, we'll do a call-in show. Anyway, all right, so here we go. Here we are looking at the current precipitation models. We're going to jump up like 6 hours at a time. And look, we got snow coming up there in Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, a little ice and snow. So winter's still hitting over. Here comes some maybe severe storms for Texas. I've been warning about this for a couple of weeks. This storm looks pretty crazy. Look at the drop in the pressure. I mean, that's a big time drop, man. This is going to be a pretty powerful system here. It don't look like a whole lot on here. But, yeah, look at it going into Sunday, April 7th. So here over the weekend, man, look at that. Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi. Be heads up, man. We could have some tornadic stuff going on with this. If not, definitely flooding rains. Oklahoma, Monday. There we go with Mississippi. There could even be severe weather all the way up into New York. And then here we go on Monday, later on in the day, Alabama, northern Georgia, Tennessee. We got to keep our eyes on this thing, man. We know they let out the bunker fuel. And every time they use this bunker fuel in the ship tracks, man, something bad always happens. Severe weather for northern Texas, Oregon. So the targets are all still the same. Let's go ahead and look at the total precipitation amounts just to kind of get an idea of who the targets are this week. Yeah, I didn't get to look at that article, that 26,000 lightning strikes per second. And that's all caused from the cloud seeding operations. They're dropping all the aluminum particles and all the other heavy metals and polymers up in the sky, and along with the bunker fuel from the ships, man. That's making the skies completely electrified. A lot of people can taste the metals. So, just like I thought, man. Like here in the Truman Lake area where I live, our lake is so full. It's flooding roads over. They're not letting anything out of the dam because of the Missouri River. Hey, thanks there, Ed. So look, the target's down here where all the water's building up going south. They're going to add to it. So, man, heads up for Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Florida for heavy floods coming your way. I mean, big time floods. You got all the river water coming down. Sometimes they're going to have to open these dams up where all these big lakes are. And look at that. They're going to hit the northern part where the snow is. They're going to melt some snow up here. We got a big time flooding target over Texas, the tri-state area there, Arkansas, Oklahoma. Look over here in northern Colorado, southern Oregon, up all the way up the Washington coast. Look at them amounts of moisture. So there we go, man. We're going to take this on up. So we're almost up into the feet range there in Northern California. And it's just growing. Look, these are the targets over the next like 16 days. You know, we're getting up here into the oranges, 10 inches of rain, some parts 2 feet of moisture in California, parts of Washington. And we've already had one, what I think, earthquake from the water weight near a nuclear facility down in Georgia. Now, I think we're going to get a few more quakes just from the weight of the water, especially over there in California. I mean, if you go back and look at the history when they built dams, they caused a bunch of 4 and 5 earthquakes. You know, just from the weight of the water pushing down on the plates because the water's not supposed to be there, you know. So that's something just to think about because who knows, man, with these crazy people. Anyway, so that is that part. Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the temperatures just to make sure we don't have no crazy cold fronts or anything coming. I mean, I'm pretty sure we're done with all the super cold. Whoa, what's wrong with the map? Maybe I don't have it on the right thing because that don't look right. It looks right, but man, why is it all white over there? Wow, that's weird. White 80, and I guess it's right there, but... All right, so yeah, we're pretty much done with the super cold, looks like. I just want to make sure I'm on the right map, because that... All right. Temperature anomaly. This is at 850, so it's like 4,000 foot up. Here's the purples are the super colds. Look at the heat wave up in Canada up there. So, wow, it's going to get... Look, they're going to melt the snow here around April 5th. Hey, thanks there, Oregon. Much love out there. So, look, they're going to melt the snow, man. That's pretty good size heat anomaly right there. Over the upper north. So, wow. Whoa, what was that? All right, so we got that going. Wow, they're actually showing a cold front coming in on the 12th. We try the lower dynamics. Hey, thanks, Sarah. Spiritually awakened. Much love out there. All right, so I'm not getting where I want here. What? There's the wind. I guess we could check the winds. See what kind of. See if we got a crazy wind coming. All right, so here we go. Let's just kind of click this forward. So that, the darker the colors, the heavier the wind is. So I'm just kind of watching this. Going into that storm. Yeah, here's the day where that storms are going to get they're going to have a lot of wind to work with here. So definitely could spin up some tornadoes. Looks like got some pretty good winds coming in the upper northwest. Hey, thanks there, Karis. Whoa, look at the wind over here. Wind and the sea level pressure. So, man, we got purples. We got like 80-mile-an-hour winds coming here on Sunday, April 7th for Oregon. That's crazy right there. That's some big-time winds. I know some of them mountains over there, man, they can get winds up to like 100 miles an hour. Wow. Okay, here's the bad storm right here. Look at that low pressure, 987, 990. So this is on April 11th. This we have to watch out for because that could definitely be some spin-ups with this system for sure. 992, 993, 995. This is going to be a major wind outbreak. 997. So April 10th going all the way into April 11th, man. Heads up. Now, why I got it right there, let me put this on the precipitation just to see. Yeah, see, sometimes these storms don't look that crazy on here until you add all the difference. Look how close the black lines are together. That's the wind, man. That's showing a blizzard in Iowa on Thursday, April 11th. So we're looking at blizzard type conditions in Iowa, Wisconsin. So anyway, heads up for that. Hopefully we'll severe storms. We'll look into this Sunday on the 16-day forecast just to see if that's going to stay like that. All right. Well, let me go ahead and get something else loading. Go ahead and get this where I want it here. And of course, all the storms hit right where all the chemtrails have been sprayed. I mean, it's like clockwork. We could actually forecast with just the chemtrails. We don't even need all these fancy maps. All right, I'm just going to let that load. Then we'll take a look here at the worldview map if it will load all the way. And while we're here, let me go ahead and add on see if we got ships still out here. And if you're new, when I talk about ship tracks and bunker fuel, man, that's like the most toxic emissions on the planet. It's just like, it's chemtrails coming out of the boat fuel, man. It's really, wow, I got to air. Oh, man, what do I got to air? That's probably going to be in our way the whole time. I don't know how to get rid of that. If I reload it, I'll lose everything. Oh, man, the stream's probably going to start sucking now. Well, that's going to be annoying. Now, can I get it off there? Oh, now it's going to start loading. Not sure how I'm going to get that off, but... Well, this is a debacle right now. That is so weird. All right, we'll just give that a minute to load. I'll do some shout-out streams running like crap again. All right, welcome in Sister Golden Hair, Conspiracy Camp, Vicky Carroll, Troy, Rhonda Long, Paul, Walking Trail, Paris is Calling, Mia, Q City Lady, Diane, Sean, Cian, Susan, Starlin, the answers above, Casey, Mia, Polymer, Bamboo Soldier, Crystal Keith, ZZ, ZR Pro, Deb Frank, Rhonda Long, Esther's Daughter. All right, thanks there, Casey, Oscar P, Canis, Troy, Debbie Coker, Laura K, Jesse, Franco, Oscar P, Pad. Hey, Pad, what's up, brother? Pad's come out and visited me. Pad's been out to this place right after I had that bad surgery, man. I was not in good shape when he was out here, but hey, thanks for coming out here to visit us. Thomas, what's happening? Betty, Carla, B Beach, Barb, Oregon Farm Girl. Welcome in, everybody. Coffee Angel, Karen G, Jill, Tony, Nanette, Russ, Remnant Warrior, Davis, Hung Jury, Lead with Love, Concerned American, Yes We Are, Vicky Carroll, Mad Jeeper, Tony, Tree Being. All right, so let me take a look over here. Welcome in. If I missed you, sorry about that. Yeah, I'm doing a little better now, Pad. Come down anytime. You know where I'm at. Pad's got a lot of knowledge, let me tell you. All right, so I'm really not seeing no big shipping operations out here right now. So it was another one of them 3-day... Wow, I can move that thing at least out of the way. One of them 3-day shipping operations where they dropped a bunch of bunker fuel. And now we're getting ready to deal with the wrath. So you just got to bear with me. This map is going to take a little bit to load. You see the big X right there over the Bajas. They're always spraying because they're always pulling this moisture up from the equator. Look at Washington. It's getting bombarded. Oh, wow, man. Yeah, they're getting hit hard up here. Let me try to get this all to load. Spraying operations up in Alberta. And Wisconsin's getting hit again. Minnesota. Michigan. You know, they're bringing the moisture up to you guys. Ontario's getting hit. Manitoba's getting hit. Look out here off the coast of Delaware, Connecticut. Maine's clear. Only for today, because all the spraying operations is going to be coming toward you tomorrow. Pennsylvania, smothered. New York, smothered. Ohio, smothered and covered. Kentucky, smothered. Tennessee, disintegrated. North Carolina, it's all coming to you. You guys are getting nighttime chemtrails tonight. South Carolina. Yep, big X right there by Savannah. See if I can bring him out a little bit better. So you see the progression just in the few hours between the pictures. How far these trails, how many they're seeding it so much. Now, there is this thing where they can overseed it. You know, if they overseed it, it won't rain. It'll just be a nasty, like a chem fog. Look at that size of that X. So we can pretty much bet tomorrow they'll be spraying again over the Bajas. And all the spraying operation up in the Northeast is going to be coming right on down, staying right out ahead of it. And just kind of looking up there. Okay. There they go. They're aiming the moisture back to Uruguay and Argentina. Yeah, they do a lot of funny business right down here, too. All right, let's go ahead and go check up over here in the Europe area. Wow, my screen's offset? Why is that? Shouldn't be. It looks all... should be squared up now. Yeah, I can't tell because I got the... Wow, what the heck? Why is it like that? Oh, wow. That's weird. How did it do that? Man, every night something gets freaked out, man. All right, well, I got it fixed now. I have no clue how that happened. Wow. All right, sorry about that, guys. All right, yeah, we got it fixed now, so pretty weird that it did that. All right, what did I lose here? I lost something. All right, let me pause that for right now. I want to get the mimic map up. We'll check that real quick. Yeah, I got to fix. Wow, we got a rooster crowing. Tropical Storm 23S. So it looks like they're getting ready to fabricate another cyclone. Let me see if this is going to turn into a cyclone. You probably won't be able to see this. Yeah, it's going to turn into a Category 1 cyclone, but it's just going to kind of hook around. So we'll see if they manipulate that in any way over the next day or two. Yeah, here's the weird thing. I get headaches every Friday. Like they spray Wednesday, and then I get the mega migraine. Like every Friday, it's like clockwork. It's like it takes a couple days for that stuff to drift down on us. Yeah, I can't really hear the tree frogs tonight, but man, everything's so wet around here. You can't do nothing hardly outside. It's just a mud pit. The ground's like liquefied. You'll walk on it and the whole thing just squishes down. Hey, Rondalone, thanks. Kind of like, you know, when you get moles and how the yard feels like if you're walking over like where a mole has buried, you know, made the ground all weird. That's what it's like, but then it's muddy on top of it. So right now, I haven't even been able to plow the garden. I got everything still inside under lights and in the windows. Everything's growing. I just don't have it in the garden yet. So yeah, we got a weird little spot there in the mimic map right there. Looks like they're sending another wave. This is what all this is going to hit the northern California area. Trying to watch that spin up down there, see if it actually turns into a cyclone. we got that pretty well documented. So here was our storms today down in Louisiana. We never did get the severe weather. Man, the local meteorologists, they suck. They can't get nothing right. Hey, thanks there, Laura. So yeah, this thing's just going to keep on heading east. Let me go ahead and put the radars on here to see what we got going on with them. I'm sure it'll be like always. They'll be manipulating the storm as it comes. We go ahead and put the watches and warnings on too. Yeah, I'm trying to. Radical Ralph sent us all kinds of seeds. I got tobacco growing and all kinds of good stuff. Cantaloupes, watermelons. So yeah, look at our flood warnings. This is going to get really filled in here over the next 2 weeks. So it looks like we had some pretty good thunderstorms down there in Louisiana. No tornadic stuff, though, that I can see. Severe thunderstorms for Northern California, Oregon. And by morning, heads up in the morning for upper Florida, parts of Georgia. Get a little sun. Look, I can see a beam shooting out of that next rad. They're definitely hitting the system. All right, got a little inflow going there. See, they cranked all these radars up to push the storm off. Let me get this. Let me get the watches and warnings off so I can see this a little better. Can I take? No, gotta have that on there. Okay. Whoa, about spilled my apple cider. You could tell these radars over Texas are communicating like a hard drive light. Look at that. See, off, cranked up, off. It's like they're all communicating. They got these turned up, so they're trying to slow that storm down. Look at it. It's actually killing it off as it gets to the radars that are turned up real high. And then you got the beams. And the military radars are definitely going to town. It looks like they have that radar off, the one that's always communicating with the military. We got some weird things shooting out of them too. No, they're not birds. What is this thing? What is that? All right, I need to zoom in on that. That definitely looks odd. Oh, hey, thanks there, Spiritually Awakened. Yeah, all that kind of stuff helps. Hopefully I'm going to get some shirts made up here, and we'll get some shirts going. We'll get some kind of mask with a logo on them. That's weird. How come it's not giving me what I want here? All right, so I guess I'm going to have to let this load up. Yeah, I wanted to see what that was. There it is. Something's weird going on right there, right coming out of the next red that almost looks like it's right on the border of California and Arizona. Let's see if this helps. Wow, look at all the aerosols being deployed out there in the Pacific. Well, it's just not showing up good on here. Boy, you can definitely see the aerosols being deployed all over here in the Pacific, all the way up. All right, let me get it back where I had it so I can check this out just a little better. Could be. Man, it takes us so long to load up. Big aerosol operation out there in the coast in the Atlantic. Wow, look at that spray down there. That's huge. Yeah, we got a huge one that took like a 40-degree turn, but a big, just huge aerosol. These are all beaming out in Texas. All right, I want to look at that. Let me take this radar stuff off. All right, there we go. Hey, thanks there, Funky Blue. Who'd I miss out there? Maybe too far south. We'll see. I think I'm... No, there's that huge line right there, but... Yeah, they kept hitting the same area. Man, they're spraying all over the Pacific right now. All right, we better go check the Earth. No, forgot to look at that. And why that's loading. We'll get this. And I want to put it on that. All right, let's go check the Earth. No, let's check all this stuff. All right, look, our polar vortex is starting to shift to the southern hemisphere. Pretty soon, we're not even going to have polar vortex winds up here. They're going to be all down here. But as these start traversing down towards the south, that's when we're going to start getting more of the tornado type weather. Go ahead and check the jet stream. And then we want to check here comes that wave. Big waves coming to the west coast. They're going to die down before they get there. But right now we're looking at 40-foot waves. Let's take it up a day. So yeah, it's going to die down pretty good. 26-foot waves. Look at it, 10-foot waves right off the coast. About 20-foot max waves. Yeah, look at all these wave anomalies. Yeah, so that cyclone's going to kind of head up north. It's just kind of squeezing in between the two islands there. All right, let's check the El Nino. It's not there. Still not there. All right, we're good on that because there's nothing there yet. Here we are looking at the carbon monoxide concentration at the surface. Hold on, I got a cough. Hang on. All right, that's a little better. All right, let's go ahead. Got a little bit in the black on China. I wonder if that's where them explosions were right down there. Go ahead and check Australia. All right, they're all pretty good. Let's go ahead and check out the carbon dioxide. And here we go again. The east, upper northeast is always pretty bad. And then, right there over Lake Michigan. And that's mainly because of the chemtrails, man. When we see this like that, it's usually where the heavier of the chemtrails are. Yeah, definitely aerosol soup, man. That's a good name for it. So these are mainly just spot fires. A lot of people are burning stuff off right now. So that's pretty much why we're getting the high PM 2.5s, at least in that area. Yeah, look at Australia, man. Their west coast is pretty messed up right now. Maybe a volcano going off. All right, looks like the solar activity has went down. All right, guys. Well, I think we're going to call this a show. Tomorrow's Friday night, so we'll try to get rested up for tomorrow night's show. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight. Thank everybody out there in the super chat, everybody that sends the stuff through the PayPal and the P.O. box thing. That all helps us. And, oh, yeah, I want to thank everybody that gave us the advice on the chicken leg. It finally stopped today. We were able to take the Band-Aids off, but there's some pretty good ideas out there how to take care of that. Anyway, guys, if you don't like heavy rock and roll, fair warning, turn it down. If you like the heavy rock and roll and you want to rise, crank it up, because here we go. I'll come join you in chat for a few minutes. So here we go. Much love, guys. No fear. And don't forget, eyes to the skies.
Hello, everybody. It is 6:14 p.m. Central Time on the 2nd of April, 2019, Tuesday here in the United States, and we are here on the Earthquake 3D live stream to talk about a few earthquakes that have struck, and a pretty significant event has occurred up here in the Alaskan Aleutian Island chain. Now, forgive me if I sound a little wheezy or stuffy. I'm still suffering from the flu and a severe cold on top of that, so if I can make through without wheezing and coughing, I'll be pretty good. Let's dive into this earthquake, and let me turn on a display capture so you can see what I'm pointing at here a little bit better. And the sizable earthquake is a 6.5 coming in here in the western Aleutian Island chain. Here's Alaska, and here's Kamchatka, Russia. So we're sandwiched in between mainland Alaska and mainland Russia. Right in the middle, over to the west, we have multiple eruptions that have taken place over at Shiveluch and Karinsky volcano, as well as Ebico this past week. Ebico right here, Karinsky and Shiveluch next to each other on the Kamchatka Peninsula. So this 6.5 follows a series of other sixes, which have broken out over the past several days on all sides of the Pacific, including a 6.2 that popped off a few days back on the 28th of March, 28th of March, 6.2 there, and then a 6.0 all the way in the Indian Ocean. This is all in the last 6 days. So really in the last 5 days. And that's pretty interesting to see multiple sixes pop off in a few days' time when we were seeing none this past week. So what happened? What caused a new 6.5 up here and a series of sixes to pop off around the plate? Well, a new series of deep earthquakes came hammering in on the underside of the plate, down at 500 and 600 kilometers deep this past week. When that happened, the new deep earthquakes put into motion the entire West Pacific, which then translated out over to the East Pacific and translated out over to the West, heading over into the Indian Ocean. That's where we are today. Now I'm going to go pull this 6.5 information, and many people were worried whether or not there might be a tsunami off this. Now, they do generate generalized warnings for this, but that's just in case there's an undersea landslide of some kind with a 6.5. Normally, there's not enough energy to produce any major waves, like I said, unless there's some kind of underwater landslide. But this is right next to, look, it says it on here, Kiska volcano. Now, Kiska we don't normally talk about, but right next to this, I'll show you what's in the vicinity. So it's not that Kiska volcano is erupting, even though it could. Very well could. Kiska volcano is right here, and it erupts semi-regularly every few, I think, decades. But that would still be a little bit, something we don't normally see that much. When we look over next to here, though, we have a few others, Little Sitkin and other volcanoes that nobody's ever heard of before because they don't normally erupt. We go over to the east, and we have Cleveland volcano that we've talked about before, and we go further over to the east, and we have Boguslav volcano that erupted a few months back last year. Shouldn't say a few months, it's many months ago, but still the last year. So now, this new event on the inside edge. Now, what inside edge of what? Well, here's the outside edge of the plate boundary. The inside edge goes up. So really, what I want to do is bring this down almost to the sea floor, and we'll look up. Now you'll see it. It's more like a rise, a generalized mountain range, if you will, but really it's the plate boundary. And these volcanoes are at the top edge, this earthquake on the back side. So there's magma chambers that are nestled in here. Now, I'm not saying there's going to be some kind of eruption up here, but it definitely is something we want to keep an eye on, with the 6.5 popping off on the interior portion of the plate boundary as opposed to the exterior portion. And the difference is only a few miles. Let's actually measure this and show you. So what, 100 miles roughly from where the earthquake is to the actual edge of the plate boundary. Well, what does that mean overall? I want to go check the Volcanic Ash Advisory Center really quick. See if there's anything going on that we need to know about up in Alaska. Just quickly scroll down the list. And, again, we don't see anything in Alaska. That's fine. Something we'll need to watch for the next several days. Okay, yeah, nothing in Alaska right now. Over to the east, do you see where our big arrow points? Obviously, the big arrow points over to the east and then goes down to United States. For the people in mainland Alaska, this should be a wake-up call for everybody here. you're about to go back through the roof in the next several days. If there's a 6.5 out here in the Aleutian Islands, we can certainly expect a full magnitude rise at each location. Now, each location, let's show you the biggest earthquake that struck. Look where this 4 is. Here's Anchorage, where the little bay or harbor is. So on the northwest side of Anchorage, I would say, or, well, actually, Anchorage doesn't really go up that far, but just a few miles from Anchorage to the northwest is that 4. I would expect this to go back up to 5 to 5.5. So it's enough to shake things on shelves, knock things off shelves. Why do I think it's going to go up that high? Well, 6.5 worth of energy, very shallow in the crust, has been introduced. The only good news I have for you is that this is shallow, it's not deep. So shallow means it's going to take a step down from 6.5. It's going to lose momentum as it's brute force the energy trying to transfer through the plate boundary as opposed to coming up from underneath it. As it goes through the plate boundary, across 800 miles or so, it's going to lose a little energy. It's going to go from 6.5 down to 5.5, but it should impact somewhere here just south of Mount McKinley. Okay, that's where I'm going to watch. Now, the last time I was watching there, it went up to the north. It was on the backside of the Aleutian Island chain, and it went up to the north, up on the northern slopes. All right, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. I think it's going to maintain its regular trajectory, but it is on the backside of the islands, which the last time meant, again, like I said, went up to the northern slopes. That's just what happened up here to the north. So it's a big earthquake, no tsunami, and no likely damage from this because it's, again, far enough away from any main populated areas to cause any major damage. But there could be people that live up there, some random person up there, and things got broken or knocked off shelves. It's big enough to cause damage, landslides, and those kind of events up in the mountains, as well as avalanches. And like I said with the volcanic threat, we have to keep an eye on those volcanoes. So what else has happened? 6.5, I mean, that's big enough. With all those other 6s hammering off, I think everybody should be paying attention at this point. But where? Where do we pay attention? Well, this goes back into what I did for many years, and it got everybody all pissed off at me around the world. But we look to the middle points, these silent zones between the sets of earthquakes all around the Pacific Plate, and there's many of them, and they will all be filled in the middle points with new earthquakes that are larger than what's currently here right now. So if we're at 6.5 now, and we have new deep earthquakes like this 4.7 hammering off, that means most likely in the next 3 to 5, maybe 7 days at the most, we will be seeing this go up even further beyond 6.5. Where? In our silent zones downstream from where the deep earthquakes are. So here's our deep earthquake here. We would look downstream from the deep earthquake to our center of cluster of activity. This puts Papua New Guinea in the mix, and this puts New Caledonia in the mix as our first 2 spots to watch over the next few days for a larger than 6.5 earthquake to develop. As we go further to the west, we look at a silent zone here, right next to a volcano that just erupted 2 days ago. Krakatoa volcano, Kerinci volcano also erupting next to it. Also going over to the east, Bromo and Agung erupting. Going further over to the east, we have Ibu and Dukono erupting. That's 6 volcanoes erupting across Indonesia. It's been steadily creeping back up. You may remember a few days back, we were only at 2 erupting volcanoes. Now we're at 6. So in 48 hours, that is. So multiple eruptions, multiple 6.0 earthquakes, and several deep events striking around the plate. We look to our middle points between our sets of earthquakes. Here's another example here between this 4.2 and this 4.7. I would take the 4.7 plus the 4.2, add in the 5.5 to the south, and this means South Japan's getting ready to get hit with a 5.6. Just examples. Guys, I've done the forecasting for so long, and it got me in such hot water and thrown out of all circles online that I don't even really bother doing it anymore. I've explained how to do it. If people don't pick it up at this point, I don't know what to tell you. As we go further across Asia, check it out. Look at these 4s. Again, we're talking about another day where there are no earthquakes reported out of China and Russia. This is from a day and a half ago. So what's going on? No earthquakes out of China and Russia? Do you believe that? If you go check the USGS feeds, you'll see there are no earthquakes reported out of China and Russia. If you go check the Europeans' back-end seismologist study page, you can fish through and try and find the NNC, which I think they cut again from what I've seen. I haven't seen NNC report for days. Famous last words. Let's scroll down the list and see. You see NNC? Okay, here's one for a day. A 4.1 out in China. Perfect example. I can grab the coordinates and show you where it is. Just one example of a 4 they're not reporting. USGS. And don't tell me they don't report 4.1s internationally when we know they do. And I'm not trying to be confrontational or anything. I'm just telling you, they're not reporting earthquakes out of China and Russia to the Western peoples. Or the Eastern peoples, really. Everybody's ignorant about the earthquakes coming out of China and Russia. All right, so we'll put the 4.0 coordinates in, show you where it is in China as just one example. I show it every day. So it can't be a mistake when it happens every single day in these same spots over and over again. It just can't be. So we're on the edge of the Taklamakan Desert again. We've been all around it in the past several months. Multiple 4s and 5s striking all the way around this thing. And USGS, Western agencies, ignoring the earthquakes. But if you could see them, if they did report them, you would see a line of earthquakes going back across southern Mongolia, over to the Taklamakan Desert, and back across Siberia, Russia, connecting right up to here, and it would look like a stepping stone path. Now, I think they don't report those because they don't want you to see the stepping stone path of earthquakes connecting between plates. You know why? Because they said it couldn't happen. Pretty blockheaded to say that couldn't happen, right? Prove it. Prove you're negative. All right, as we go over to the west, we get into Iran, where salam and much love to all my viewers in Iran. I actually have been growing viewership in Iran. We broke the barrier and actually made it through. People actually have been getting earthquake updates in regards to what's coming into Iran. Now, look what happened. 5.2 and 4.9 all struck a day and a half ago. That came out of China and Russia. Well, now there's a new set of 4s coming out of China and Russia. So that means a new set of 4s are coming into western Iran. See where the rings overlap here? That's where we're going to watch. The middle point, the fulcrum point. Think of these like a 2-arm scale, 3.5 on one side, or 3.7 on the other. It's primed the area in the middle to get hit by something larger, and we know at least 4.0 worth of energy is coming out of China right now. So if you live in Iran, you have to pay attention to the earthquakes in China and Russia. And you might say, what earthquakes? I don't see any on the map. And that just gets back to what I was just bitching about. Complaining about. Sorry. Pardon my French. I'm on YouTube. I got carried away. All right, let's go over across Turkey. What's going on here? Look what happened. Crete got hit by a 4.2, but that's all after that big movement a day ago in South Europe or in the Mediterranean Sea. Multiple 5s breaking out. We're going to expect multiple 4s to spread across Europe, not just anywhere, following these arrows. So far, so good. It's going exactly where we would expect. Right up across Bosnia and Croatia with this 2.6 and 2.7, and same-sized earthquakes going across Italy, central Italy by Norcia, 2.6 and 2.7. That's not a coincidence. Same-sized earthquakes spreading up in both directions following our arrows. Equal distribution of force. It's just the beginning. We have 2 5s down here. This means 4, 4, and 4. And it could go up to 4.5, 4.5, and 4.5. Not just anywhere. Central Italy, north of... Notice, by the way, for all my Italian viewers, we've moved. Most of the large earthquake activity has moved slightly from Norcia. Even though you're getting hit with swarmage, it's moved up next to Florence and the plate boundary to the north again. So we shift on the plate boundary, and a few years ago, we shifted right into central Italy, where it then broke. The plate boundary broke. Well, now it's shifting up to the north. Pretty obvious, right? So, and it's shown with the number of earthquakes that are spreading up to Florence and beyond. Same with over in Bosnia and Croatia. So over here, look, 2.6, 2.7 going right along the edge of the craton. I would also expect something similar in size to creep up through Bulgaria, like it is now. By the way, if you take this 2.6 and add this 2.7 together, it equals 2.86, or 2.9 if you round it up. So, really, 2.9's worth of energy here, 2.9's worth of energy here, and, lo and behold, coming up out of Bulgaria, a 3. So I would expect something similar to spread up across Romania, Poland, see both get hit with near 3.0 activity, and then finally up here at Iceland and Jan Mayen. Jan Mayen's this little itty-bitty speck of an island right here in the middle of the arrow to see 2 sets of 3s. Big deal, right? Okay, it's just 3s. Can you believe people freaked out on me for telling people where earthquakes are going to strike over? Like when I'm talking about 3s and 4s and 5s? Well, whatever. Let's go out across Western Europe. Well, what happened? A small series of 2s went out to the Azores. We talked about the Azores yesterday, and we told you what was coming out of Europe yesterday. Was that yesterday? Yeah, it was April 1st. Coming out of Europe yesterday, was going to go over to the Azores. Well, there it is today. 3.1 and a 2.6. Go compare to my video from yesterday. Indian Ocean, 6.0 on one side, 4.9, on the other side, 4.7 to 4.8. I'll call those two the same sized earthquakes on both sides, within a hair of a point of one another. Now, look what else happened. That 5.9 from the day before. Now, should we really just call that a 6 as well? Because that's really what it is. Or we could call this a 5.9. Two 5.9s or two 6s. Which way do we want to look at it? Two of the same sized earthquakes, just like these. But obviously, the bigger movement in the middle. Now, what's in the middle? A giant fracture zone. You see all these northeast and southwest facing fractures. Well, they actually follow a ridge that goes up to here. Now, to see that ridge, we can maybe jump over to Google Earth. Here it is. You can see it, a big split in the plate that goes up through the Gulf of Aden, spreads up through the Red Sea, and goes up into the Gulf of Oman, makes a number 7 bend, and follows the bends of the plate up into Iran. Well, we can follow that back down. Look, goes right down to here, and then I've got a giant red arrow going across the Indian Ocean, coming off of western Sumatra, Indonesia. These 6s here came from over here, where we had our deep earthquakes, our multiple volcanic eruptions, and multiple 4s and 5s pop off in the past few days. So over the next few days, we have to watch for this to happen again, now that a new series of earthquakes are popping off here. I haven't even talked about what happened over in eastern Papua New Guinea into the Solomon Islands, which is dueling 5.0 earthquakes, the same size. So 5.0, 5.0 right next to each other. That's something also that we see regularly, an equal spread of events across the regions. If you're just now tuning in one more time, 6.5 struck up here in the Aleutian Island chain. Don't worry, it did not cause a tsunami. The only time we would worry for a tsunami is if there's a undersea landslide with this size of an earthquake. 6s don't normally cause tsunamis. So that's good news. And damage, probably minimal, probably because there's maybe a few houses up there at the most, but it's out in the ocean in the Aleutian Island chain. Jumping across the Pacific, going into Central and South America, look what happened, guys, right here on the coast of El Salvador, or South Guatemala. Now, you got to remember, there have been 2 eruptions that have been happening here, one at Fuego and the other at Santa Guido. Go over on the list, check it out on the Volcanic Ash Advisory list, and you'll see Santa Guido was re-added in the past day and a half. So we have 4 erupting volcanoes across this region. We have Popocatépetl here, and word reached me that Colima erupted 2 days ago, but didn't make the Volcanic Ash Advisory Center for some reason. I don't know why, because the video I saw had a pretty big ash cloud. I don't think people would be faking that. It'd be pretty stupid to fake a Colima eruption, so maybe we'll get more information on that the next day. But anyway, Popocatépetl erupting here in central Mexico, and then Fuego and Santa Guido both erupting in Guatemala. Go skip over Costa Rica, and we get right here into Ecuador with Reventador volcano. And then the regular usual suspects keep erupting over and over again. That's Sabancaya here in South Peru, Planchon Petroa down here at the Chile-Argentina border. So a 5 nestled in between 2 of the same size quakes. 4.6 and 4.7 like bookends and sandwiched in between the 5. Well, isn't that what we were just talking about everywhere else across the planet? Same-sized earthquakes sandwiched in between the larger earthquake. We call that the fulcrum point, the accumulation point, where the energy accumulates. The combined total is greater in the middle than what's on both sides moving. As we go across the Cayman Trench, we go over into Haiti, which had a 3.4 right here, which is somewhat rare. We don't normally see much activity west of Haiti. And then the same-sized earthquakes reaching out across Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. I'm expecting this to take another magnitude step up, and we're going to see an outbreak here north of Venezuela near Barbados. I hope it's not going to be on land. I hope it'll be out in the ocean, but it's going to be the combined total of everything coming out of Central America over the past few days. So, if we're already dealing with 4s and then add in a 5 and all the other 3s and 2s and 1s, well, all the other 3s and 2s and 1s, they could add up to like a single 4 or something. So that's not really that big of a deal. But with all the eruptions and the 5, I want people over in the Eastern Caribbean to be on watch. Continental United States. Now, we've already talked about what to look for in Alaska. I'm watching back up next to Anchorage again to go up to 5.5. so it's enough to knock things off shelves. You have your warning sign right here, coming in from the Aleutian Island chain. But let's go out into Hawaii. Hey, mahalo everybody again. We've got a little bit of news for